Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I would like to review my last assignment from extensive reading with the topic a review of my article that I've read. And before I start to review my article, let me introduce myself first. My name is Fitriani. I'm the first semester of Department of English Education, Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta. Alright guys, now let me start. Alright, actually I have 10 articles here, but the topic of my articles were different, and I have some topic that I will combine later. Okay, the first article is the title, Will Mobile Learning Change Language Learning? And the author, you can see the author and the date of publish. Alright guys, now let's move. Alright, in this journal article of Pulkus Home, Agnes the author discussed that will mobile learning change language learning, and this paper argued that emphasis on mobility can lead to new perspective and practice. Alright guys, in this article, the author had three sources. The first one is the first source from using mobile learning within the classroom with appropriate software. The source shown that effective in supporting collaborative learning. And then the second source, you can see the second source is using handheld computer for university ladder has improved communication. And the third source is using the My Art Space source that told India's source school children on a trip to a museum using mobile phones to access multimedia, has support and extend collective knowledge. Alright guys, now the conclusion that I can sum up from this article is right. Wait, let me check my notes first. Okay, that's the source I sum up that mobile assisted learning language differs from computer assisted language learning in its of personal, right. The author conclude that mobile learning seems to belong more to learner than to teacher. Student become independent learning in self-direct ways. Mobile learning helps student to communicate in well. Those were highly motivated learners who are willing to define their own language needs to select research tools and communications methods. Alright, now let's move to my second article in that I have read. Then this article also have the same topic and the same discussion that I discussed. Okay. The second article says effectiveness of vocabulary learning via mobile phone. You can see the author and the date of publish. Alright, let's move now. Alright. So you can see the main goal in this research this research has shown the positive attitudes of learning via mobile phone and short message using service SMS help some students for building their vocabularies and remember them to use in sentence. And then you can see also this research based plan to know is using SMS message mobile phone more effective to self-learning vocabulary than using papers materials for vocational high school student in Taiwan. In Taiwan, and their perspective of learning vocabulary via mobile phone. Alright, this is what I can say the sample that used in this research. This research also to understand the use of SMS text messaging in the vocational schools and the vocational high school student. Alright guys, now let me check my notes. Okay, from the article, the article, the author concludes that learning via mobile phone gives a positive correlation between frequency of reading, SMS lesson, and vocabulary gains, which support the cognitive benefit in learning via mobile phones. The right from these both from the article, I will add my opinions that this research to fulfill the mobile technology in supporting via mobile phone and make them to benefit in learning within the via mobile, and then supporting student in the second language learning. Alright guys, now let's move to the third articles with the title Reading Language and Reading Music. The question, is there any connection? As you can see, the author and the date of published. Alright, let's move. Now, as you can see, the main goals of this research are indicate a positive correlation between language reading and music reading, and suggested that the amount of intelligence required to read music is at least as much as that required to read language. And this article used the sample that talent class placement and slow learn in 7th grade of New York City Junior High School, and using 50 children 6 to 8 years of age, which group in New York school. Alright guys, the conclusion, the author sum up from the author conclusion from this topic, this article is conclude that music is a great appeal has held the child's attention in reading language, and both the result did indicate a positive correlation between language reading and music reading ability. And then the author at that school administrations are beginning to realize the benefits of indeed the necessity of music in school. And according to me, I want to add my opinion related to this result, where I agree that there is a connection between language reading and music reading. Music lesson should be applied in every school, especially if we can take the benefits applied in Indonesian school, because both reading music and reading language require the same amount of intelligence. This also will be good opportunity if emphasized in Indonesia school, as I mentioned before. Alright guys, now let's move to the next article, to the fourth article. Still have a correlation between the previous article. A focus of attentions for meaningful listening. As you can see, the author and the date of publish, and then let's remove. Sorry, let's remove. Right guys, this research focus of attention model for meaningful learning that is designed to combine the emotional aspect of music listening with the specific discrimination of sounds even. And this result shown up in this study, music listening performing activities are purposefully interpreted with other activity that necessitating in competition for focused attention. Alright guys, based based on the explanations that I shown in the PPT, The author shown that model in a relationship in this research indicate that when a task requires an individual to attend to a music in some manner, this attention occupies a high degree in participant involvement. And from the studies that have done, the author conclude that these activities for focused attention seems consistent with other studies. And then um, the and then more important, even if people can attend to music in a time sharing paradigm, this lack of involvement will probably not allege emotional attachment, which we propose constitutes that's not none of meaning listening. Right, no, yeah. Now back to new topic, gender differences in language use analysis, and you can see the title. Now let's move. Right guys, you can read by yourself. This main goal to explore gender differences language and very large data that written and the sample using the computerized text analysis tools. And this research, finally guys, this research represented 17 studies from 22 laboratories, includes 14 university in the United States and 63 studies. And the first new university in New Zealand, you can see in this PPT. Let me check the note. Alright guys, the author mentions after the author analyzes in this research, the show up that females' language was more likely than men's include pronouns and social words, and wide variety of psychology process referencing. And then this article had proven a clear map of the differences in the man's and woman language, and to over starting for the future research into nature and origin of gender differences. According to me, this article is a good topic to see the differences between man and woman in language use. This topic also had been discussed for a long time, and it was true there were many different usage in language. I add my opinion to take a larger sample in general, not in one side, or I mean not in the only use the one universities. All right. Now let's move. Alright, this about language and identity. The some like the previous, I think this article has combination with the previous article. Alright guys, right, as you can see, this article is a particular discussing scale research finding on language and identity with reference to 5 that divide into 5 areas of research: identity and investment, identity and emerging communities, identity categories and educational change, identity and literacy, and identity and resistance. Alright guys, in this article, the author argued that responding the diversity in language classroom requires an immediate assessment. And then the author mentioned that if we agree the diverse identity position of learners, a range of positions from which speech, listen, read, and write. A number of research projects drawn from diverse regions of the world are illustrative. The ways which particular pedagogical practice in language classroom. And then from the from the discussion. The language and identity in the classroom pedagogy mentioned that there was a counter discourse to dominant discourse of the native teachers in language. As I mentioned before in this article, in learning English content should be taught by the native genders. That native yeah, the native gender, I mean native teacher. I don't agree in this that statement to illustrate the way which non-native English teacher should sacrifice local identities in teaching English context. According to me, in this language, I mean in English context, from non-native teacher allows students to explore various identity position in classroom and pedagogy. All right, guys, and then next article. This come to new article. Language and power in a family. Right, the main goals focusing primarily on the of the development of the power relations in the family and express directly. And then this article also talk about the externally aspect of Linguistic Control Act, and the use of Linguistic Control Act as a relative of power was expressed through language in the family. Alright, guys, these articles actually use the database and a short conversation. This research choose for cooperative middle class in the family with two and 3 children between the age of 2 and 8 for videotaping naturalistic interaction and over for more than 1 year. And then the author found that from the article, from the sample that the author had done, younger children were more ignored when they attempt to get the attention of who was already talked with the other person. And then the author had examined power and difference between natural interaction of family members by isolating children's attempt to control. And then the author also shown that the mother in the sample were important to exception to the pattern of the power and extreme correlation with age. And then according to me this findings suggest many years of family interaction, and that provide training ground for later patterns of social behavior. If many respect the structure of power and difference in adult life prefigures in the family. Alright, guys, now let's move. Actually, the previous article about family, I just have one topic, and now move to communicative language teaching state of arts. Right, guys. Now, this article is about language and identity. The author that will discuss the beginning of what has come to be known as a communicative teaching, then discuss current issue of and promising avenues of inquiry. Alright, guys. There are 4 points that will be discussed by the author. The first one, the beginning of communicative language teaching, and then implication for existing programs, what about grammar and promising avenue of inquiry. And then for guys, as a CLT communicative teaching of communication focus on the learner. The learner communicative need provide a framework for elaborating programs goals in terms of functional competence. Alright, from CLT, as the title. CLT research drawing on the current understanding of the language use as a social behavior, purposeful and always in context. And I want to add something something related to the topic, that research need to look to the teacher to define researchable question. Teachers in turn need to participate in the interpretation of finding for materials and classroom practice, elaboration of appropriate methods and material for a particular language teaching program that will restart from the cooperative and all the concerned. Alright guys, now move to teacher students interaction in classroom of student specific learning difficulties, learning English as a foreign language. This still have a combination with the previous article. And the purpose, first of all, the purpose of this study to present a study was to explore teacher-student interaction in the classroom of students with specific learning difficulties, or we say SPLD, learning English as a foreign language. The sample used in this research was conducted in the classroom of teacher who taught students who has severe difficulty in EFL literacy at the Kibbutz Comprehensive High School located in the center of area Israel. Alright guys, the procedure for the sample is for identifying pupils SPLD in the Israel educational system are based on the two definitions. The first one is the IQ achievement discrepancy definition, and the interrogacy community of learning disability definition. Alright, from the from the samples and the study, the research from the study, the author conclude that learning EFL in Israel is compulsory for all school students and is essential for academic. And then success in learning second language among learners with SPLD depends on range of the factor, including the quantity and quality of input, and then social interaction with others which may influence the learner to communicative and overcome his or her linguistic deficiency. And according to me, it would be interesting and important for future qualitative research on the classroom interaction to embed some assessment measure of language acquisition, which will shed more light on the casual link between teachers in instructional and then students language development. Alright guys, now let's move to last article. Is about article classroom and classroom SLA research and second language teaching. The previous talk about EFL and now the next article, the last article, discuss about SLL research and second language teaching. Alright, the author summarized that SLA research by stating 10 generalizations which were consistent with the research, and the author concluded that SLA research could serve as a basis for telling teacher what to teach or how. And then the author suggests that SLA research was one important source of information which would help teachers set appropriate exceptions for themselves and their students. Alright guys, now I will mention, let me check my notes first. I will mention you the 10 the 10 10 generation that we'll discuss. The first one is adults and adolescent in acquire a second language, and then the learner create a systematic interlanguage which is often characterized by the same systematic, and then they are predictable sequence in a second language acquisition. Practice knowing a language rule doesn't mean one will able to use in the communicative interaction. Isolated explicit error correction. For most adults, learner a question stop before the learner has achieved native like mastery the target language, and then one cannot achieve native like command of the second language in the hour day, and the learner task is enormous because language is enormous complex. Alright guys, now based on the research, the SLA research finding don't constitute the only or even the principal source in informational to guide teacher in daily practice of the art and science and second foreign language teaching. Teacher will make their decisions on the basis of many different factors. I want to add my opinion related to the SLA research and SLA and EFL research. I hope we find the majority of teachers who have conviction about the sounding of their teaching techniques that stem from research and development, with the rigidness to try these techniques in their classroom. No matter how sound the research of with new ideas, materials, and adapt according to the local conditions. The strength of individual teachers and students and the available resource, the age of learner, and the time for teaching. Alright guys, from the tons of my article novel of as discussed about how we use the how we got or how we got the language from our family, about the listening using the music, and the gender language and gender. And the last is about the SLA and EFL in the second learning, in second foreign language. Alright guys, I have reviewed the all of my review articles, and thank you very much for attention and your watching. At the end of the sentence, I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.